Enterprise a little bit of an option if they want to change their mind, but I'm pretty sure they don't want to change their mind. They've already made contact, and that was actually work from Mangus on the opposite side of the map. Blitz will shut down U-Jerks. There's one of them already tossed on in towards Constant. Doesn't seem to have done the job whatsoever. It's an utter bloodbath, but in the favor for the win is HiGHLiGHTS is going to be left all on his lonesome right here, but he'll be cleaned up rather swiftly. Flashbang, surprisingly enough, not all too good. U-Jerks could see very, very high up angle. Obviously, people are going to start swinging him relatively. He still walks away with one. He gets traded off, though, by Mangus. Araz, he's good for one onto Beta, and he still continues to maintain that angle. Where do you go from here? You have to look for a challenge. He finds Diaz, so that's something. Molly prepped and already swung over towards Pit. He has the angle, but the timing was just slightly off. Over towards Mexico. Contact has been found, but Mangus still walks away with the frag. Very well done, and has been traded off by Diaz. U-Jerks goes in for another. Willing to keep up the heat over towards T-Ramp. As Diaz capitalizes onto Milsey. Very, very late execution. No util have to go in fully naked. Blitz still somehow walks away with the frag onto U-Jerks, but it doesn't matter. The backup of Diaz roster. Contact found, and U-Jerks will capitalize. He gets himself a 3K. Stood atop over towards the top of the match. We're a little bit messy coming out from Enterprise in the gunfights. That was just a mess of its own. U-Jerks phasing into the smoke. About to lock horns with Blitz, but it doesn't even matter. It's agile long. HCG fishes a little bit of damage, and Milsey, primed and ready as ever to find one. He gets a second. No, that's actually Maddie's instead to find the head of the T hands. Milsey phasing smoke. Well, he'll be read into by Arados. Mangus will capitalize himself, but he will fall. That leap of faith not working in his favor whatsoever as he's picked up by Agile. HiGHLiGHTS already found in a nasty engagement with U-Jerks, and he will be claimed upon. Another behind the Nuve boxes, behind Fountain, and that is Milsey, who will reveal themselves, and HiGHLiGHTS with a pistol round. Except for, the obvious pistol round itself at the very start of the matchup. Maddie is already by the CT side of FTW. Mangus spots out with multiple heads to tap on. Doesn't get the cleanest headshots, but kills, I should say. A triple on the round before finally being shut down by the CSGO, most likely. Eros is about to be in a world of hurt the moment he turns this corner. He does get one dignity exit. Mangus could really be the playmaker in this instance. As you can see, Enterprise, they've once again redirected their attention over towards that ace side, but it's going to be load onto this round itself. Eros, anti-flash. He's good for one at the top of the balcony and phases back down. But he will be shut down. He was blind as a bat, and the same thing can be said for Agile that was over towards Graveyard. Fire damage baited out from both squads, but unfortunately, well, the side of Enterprise, they're not looking all too healthy as suddenly FTW ramp up on the aggression. They do successfully, well, secure the trade out, but it's not looking all too great. Diaz will be found out, doesn't check his hard left side, and that was a very single round from an A1S. Simply good to pick them up, and as I say that is already Maddie's being found out. HiGHLiGHTS pushing on through, and he will be stopped dead in his tracks. The same thing can be said for Milsey. Bunny out of his top hat with this round. Double swing comes on through towards Fountain. He does find that one up. I really pray to God the story doesn't go for the swing, but instead it's going to be U-Jerks to go for that swing. He somehow gets Milsey as well through the smoke. Brilliantly read into his Blitz. Will secure the trade, but it's not looking all sunshine and daisies for FTW right here. Excuse me, how are Enterprise going to be able to somehow get a successful round here? I guess not. Agile shuts down Mango. Achieve right here. Still a very good hold, and more importantly, there's a certain depth and complexity to tuning up the raw, unbridled aggression you exhibit as the CT side. Araz cuts down Mangus at the very top of it. But I don't really think that matters all too much for Diaz. He's been able to creep in through the bomb site. He will be cleaned up though by HiGHLiGHTS. Eros, here's a trade elsewhere over towards that F side. Blitz already reading into his position. He'll have to skirt off. HiGHLiGHTS goes for an aggressive play. Will be traded off though by Maddie's. Keeping things close and personal in this 2v2 scenario. Blitz strikes now the AWP, or no, the P250 of Story, to find some damage, but none can be found just yet. Story might just have to scamper off, but doesn't get the opportunity to. Maddie's Eros is gonna get, well, just a little bit harassed right there by Miltsy. And HiGHLiGHTS holding down the fortress inside of Shadow, gets control of the bomb, nearly the third onto Mangus as well, but he's able to, at the very least, get a little bit of crisis control working for the side of Enterprise in the midst of this execution. Blitz, already so advanced up, finds one onto Diaz and will have to scamper away for a backstab. The bomb plant goes down. HiGHLiGHTS already holding it down. There's a wild spray coming on out as Blitz will have to ensure that this goes back to a 1v1. The defuse is trying to be stuck. Blitz has to get a move on, but he doesn't realize what's actually taking place. Oh, goodness gracious. That really isn't how things have transpired in that last round. At the very least, FTW are still maintaining some fighting. Enterprise have got to be sure that nobody is actually still lurking around Banana. Miltsy with a lovely entry onto HiGHLiGHTS is really going to create a little bit of space on towards the speed bomb side. HiGHLiGHTS can't strike just yet, but he's been ridden into by Blitz. Oh no. Lovely clapback though by Eros on top of the logs. He finds it is not looking all too great, but Diaz already so aggressive towards second mid. Dishes out so much damage towards Maddie's, excuse me, but can't actually capitalize on the frag itself. Mangus doubles down. Flash comes in for Mangus, but he can't capitalize onto Story. No, the AWP rings true. Flashbangs tossed out over towards that B side as well. Usually drops in response for FTW to get a little bit more to work with. Arados finds one, and that calls him back into a 3v3. The hop with the smoke is read into by HiGHLiGHTS. Oh no, HiGHLiGHTS with the FAMAS. He gets a two-piece onto Miltsy as well. This has fallen apart for Enterprise. Maddie's with the AWP will have to fade through the smoke. Oh my goodness, what a shot coming out from him. A no-scope to climb up. AWP shot doesn't land, and Maddie still has an option. Oh, he finds one onto Story, but Eros. The second half of the scoreline, as I said, could not be more evened out into the pistol round, and this is going to be really telling. If FTW pick this one up, then they can simply side, but they've already lost out on control of the B bomb site, and this is going to be a very tough retake for them to undertake. Yeah. Your hands are basically a little bit too much tied in this instance. Maddie's, though, coming back in through Banana, find one onto Arados. HiGHLiGHTS keeping his head tucked in. Diaz with the swing finds two, as HiGHLiGHTS and Story will quickly will take quite a little bit of damage, though. Eros is going to take up the reins over towards Long. The wild spray comes through, and it's the 5-7 of HiGHLiGHTS to shut him down instead, forcing to pay for his crimes. Despite the fact that FTW lost one player and now a second over towards the A bomb side, they will continue to try to force the issue. Those Deagles are simply coming alive on the side of Enterprise to the point that it's looking a little bit too scary for FTW. The AK and the Galil now to clean up the scraps and try to get this bomb plant down, but Blitz is snuck on through. He shuts us down. HiGHLiGHTS is the last player alive to see what he can do with the Galil. He finds one, but goodness gracious. Enterprise actually looks like if that's even a real rate. HiGHLiGHTS already lighting up the kill feed as they're once again lining up over the Banana side, and they outright deal with Blitz. That's the sole defender those Maddies quickly reposition and start spraying down through that smoke. Elsewhere, Mangus does find one as an HE is locked. And FTW are about to lock horns. HiGHLiGHTS finds one. Another is hold before Maddie's capitalizes. Oh, the push comes on through, and HiGHLiGHTS is successful. Miltsy does secure first blood, and he will have to continue to activate with this op, but he'll be shut down at the top of the balcony. Mangus at least burns arrows down to a crisp, and Mangos is holding down the fort from deep inside a pit. He does walk away with 2 frags, and miraculously, that first one, full swing of Blitz and Maddie's, yet to be seen. He finds one, the spray down and transfer for the second one isn't there, and Blitz, maximum potential. Contact has been found. Maddie's already drops the molly, and in they fall. Maddie secures the 2-piece before Blitz was able to kick us off. And suddenly, FTW have been saved off, but they have to continue to barge their way on through. That's the bomb down over towards Coffin. Story with the hero, AK itself, is looking for, well, some kind of turnaround as he secures himself a double kill. No gap to be found through it, though. So this just gets a little bit more rough and tough for Story, and he's been back found in a confident fashion. Just gets more exponentially low with each passing round. Maddie's already finding U-jerks over towards Ashen. Maddie's over towards Graveyard. It's going to be the linchpin, and I thought Miltz, he can't walk away with that. Maddie's pops up for one, but just like a whack-a-mole, he will be and that's the round confirmed for FTW, ladies and gents. Story already drawing first blood. Maddie's with a wild spray as the flashbang comes on through. He does connect onto 2 players, and Blitz swing over towards him. Well, HiGHLiGHTS has already prepped it ready. He finds 1, 2 as well as a spray transfer. They're all lined up towards the top of mid. Mangus, anti-flash finds 1, good for a second as well. Bomb plan has been, well, dropped effectively as he gets himself a triple kill. HiGHLiGHTS and he has a good flash, he's looking to find contact. He does so onto Maddie's, but a TK comes out. U-jerks shuts down over towards the library, and he might get the upper hand. He might get the wide swing here. Oh, but U-jerks, while being full flash, somehow still shuts down HiGHLiGHTS. And Miltz from deep inside of the bomb site already secured 1. Mangus looking for a second, and he claims Eros. Okay, Story with it all to do in a 1v2 scenario. Does find 1 onto Mangus, but Miltz, HiGHLiGHTS doesn't know for a fact that he's got so many souls on the opposite side of that smoke. He walks away with 1, but as U-jerks just goes for a nice little peekaboo and a how do you do. Mangus also with 1 of his own finds 1 onto U-jerks and waves goodbye to 2 players, Diaz included. Maddie's capitalizes yet again as it's all down to HiGHLiGHTS aggressing over towards Miltz. He will secure the op, and he can put this to good use. Oh, info spotted out. 1 frag found onto Blitz. 1 more needed to even up the scoreline and keep the dream alive. The quick scope was inches away from being perfect. And Enterprise, they do close off win. And already hopping to the opening pistol round right here. Plenty of action to already take place, and it is not working in the favor of FTW on their own map pick whatsoever. Agile and Eridaz left in the 2v3, no, 2v4, scratch that. It will be converted into a 1v2, however, thanks to Eridaz. But that's all about they will be a fair amount of momentum from that very last lap of Inferno that they are willing to work into the South American rainforest. That is ancient. Trade goes into heavily in the favor of FTW as they are stuck left with the man advantage, and that is exactly what you want to see, but that's been stripped away from them. HiGHLiGHTS with the FAMAS turns on and finds 1 Diaz to fall, but Eros is good for the trade, and now he needs to keep this under wraps. The 2v1 to ensue over by that B bomb site. Mangus, oh, HiGHLiGHTS. Okay, he will be found out just before he was able to convert it back into a 1v1 scenario, and now it's all down to Eros versus Mangus, and suddenly, well, Eros, he's shifted his attention over towards that mid side, exactly where Mangus is rotating in on from, and he reads into it in the hands of Miltz. We've seen what Miltz can do in the previous round, and he's about to do it all over again. Already finds an entry on towards right there. Ooh, Maddie's already falls. Eridaz can't secure the trade either. This has gone horribly wrong within the first opening engagements for FTW. Story will at the very least, Hillers. He's in the prime position, I should say, to stave off this T aggression. Diaz on entry, no flashbang to boot just yet. And this could go horribly wrong, but Diaz, he somehow gets away with both of them. Daylight robbery taking place in the server right there. Enterprise thought they were ready for it, but Diaz is ripping and tearing his way through this B bomb site hold. Already got himself a triple kill, and now it's all down to Mangus and HiGHLiGHTS to see if they can maybe mount some kind of retake. It would be quite the story, but I do. Hands are tied, and they'll have to concede the round. It was already a given that FTW would have walked away with that, but power to outright dismantle that stereotype. Mangus finds 1 on Diaz. Agile, quick for the trade. No! Mangus actually gets the spray down onto Agile instead with the A1S. And Eridaz tucked in over behind the boxes with the Two players wrapping towards T-spawn. Bits finds one. Story gets the trade-off. And now that they have live intel, you know for a fact that Enterprise, they're going to be cyberbullying Story any minute now. He does find one onto Miltsy, though. Consolidation frag with the backstab is imminent. Maddies will shut him down. AWP can crawl their way through. B bomb site execution is most likely as Mangus strikes. He finds first blood onto Story over by mid. That is not something that FTW can really afford to re-peak, but they do indeed, and Agile will still capitalize onto Mangus. Prepping for that B-bomb site execution, but there's a heavy stack over towards Mattress. Blitz bites off a little bit more than he can chew, and it will be met by Agile. Now it's down to Mitzi. He'll find one onto Arados. The spray transfer nearly connects for another two-piece, but it won't happen. The missed off shot coming out from Maddies, but the second one doesn't. He shuts down the bomb plant before finally being taken care of himself. And HiGHLiGHTS tucked in behind the CT smoke has a swing to work with, but he's got too many things to handle at once on his plate. He lights the hell out of HiGHLiGHTS right here, but he wants to kill instead. Then HiGHLiGHTS still capitalizes despite being the only thing that really stands in between them and proper control of mid is that one player inside a donut. Story already draws first blood onto Blitz, and HiGHLiGHTS is looking to double down onto the player that is just on the opposite side of that wall. Story finds the head of Maddies as well and cleaves it cleanly off his shoulders, and suddenly we have a backstab on our hands. Aros gets one onto Mangus, and he will be shut down by HiGHLiGHTS. A good retort, but it may just be a little bit to stave off all of this aggression. Narrowly misses one. The flick onto onto Agile, excuse me. Really, they've lost out on a chance to keep FTW's win rate in check. FTW really showing everyone who the true bosses are of That's why we're all stroking our chinny chins. Op will be shut down. Miltsy had a great idea. Can confirm that there's some A-site presence. Spots out one player. That's Diaz already fired down upon. And you will choose to retreat ever so slightly to go and support this A-site hold. Excuse me, the B-site. As Agile shuts down the mattress aggression is all falling apart for Enterprise right here. That dual swing could have been so much more fruitful, but HiGHLiGHTS comes in swinging and suddenly has control of the ball. And what are FTW going to do? What are they going to do about this? Well, at the very least, they shut down Mangus, and now they can redirect their attention over towards HiGHLiGHTS, but they do start to lose out on one. And HiGHLiGHTS actually pushes through a flashbang move as well. Then he phases through the smoke. HiGHLiGHTS gets away with one, but HiGHLiGHTS has contemporary. Uh-oh, Miltsy finds Arados side quest, and that is quite the fruitful reward drop from it. Blitz the spray away with the team, won't find one. Maddies though does find his target. Blitz now comes in swinging. The Tech 9 is so close to claiming the frag onto Blitz as he's left on 1 HP, but this has taken a turn for the worst. We are in the darkest timeline for FTW as Diaz comes on through, powering through the smoke. The 2v2 scenario now ensues. Enterprise still looking to cause so much more damage. It's a good old-fashioned game of ring around the rosy. It goes in the favor of FTW. Miltsy finds one. That's bomb dropped. He'll have to play this carefully with his life, and he does. Miltsy goes galactic with it. Story and Diaz already kicking off this 15th round in right fashion. Within the first 20 seconds, we've already waved goodbye to 3 CTs. Enterprise just had it so good, man. They had it so good in that last deco round, but suddenly it's all taken a turn for the worse. Maddies, though, attempting to keep things under wraps. He does secure 2, but he's still wondering and pondering the question, where's the bomb gone? It's not in his possession. Nope, sirree. He walks right into cannot be said for Enterprise. They, on paper, are doomed to effectively lose out on the fun. HiGHLiGHTS already finds 2 to kick off the pistol round. Diaz will get another 2-piece himself onto Blitz and Matt. 35 seconds left to go, and he taps away, quickly runs out of ammo over towards the player on CT, and Story swings from Cubby, and HiGHLiGHTS. AK-47s to work with. Util is at an all-time low, though, and Agile will immediately capitalize, smoking himself off so he can safely rotate on through. Has another angle to work with, and Mangus will fall victim to it. Miltsy will successfully find HiGHLiGHTS through that trade, but it does leave us now in a 1v4 scenario as Arados will farm headshots for days. Doesn't even have to ADS. Maddies left all on his lonesome, takes so much damage to the point of discomfort. Oh my goodness. Said Maddies right here. What are you doing? That was a good shot. You know it. I know it. Still though. Oh, for a T side. How's this execution gonna be? Off to a pretty good start thus far, as HiGHLiGHTS is already the first CT to fall. Blitz not wasting a single precious moment. Spots Arados through the smoke and shuts him down. Bomb plant to be confirmed right here. There's a 5v3 ensues. It will be converted into a 4v3. Oh, they don't realize they're literally behind each other. Oh, Diaz, you didn't have to do him dirty like that. Stiletto for the win. And Diaz also shuts down a secondary onto Blitz. What I thought could have been an Enterprise round is starting to look like an FTW round. The defuse will be shut down though. And a cluster of a round coming out here, ladies and gentlemen. It works in the favor of Enterprise. They pick up 6. They narrow the gap of... HiGHLiGHTS already the first casualty in this round. Arados will spot victim, or the culprit I should say, through the smoke and promptly shut him down. We'll also claim Maddie's. A lovely find by Story from the very top of mid with the AWP. Full of frags. Work with the moment that the swing comes on through. He finds one onto Eli, fades away, gets the second as well onto Mangus. Blitz somehow forcefully got his way through that B bomb site. Can't really have it any other way if you're a Portuguese fan. The boost already read into. Maddie's was still a little bit too blind from that. He could double down for a second. Diaz delivering so many multi-kills each and every single time. Never disappoints. HiGHLiGHTS starting to feel a little bit of heat right here, and he'll have to forcefully find a way through that cubby and out of it. HiGHLiGHTS already comes in with another double frag of his own. He long been turned into a nightmare. He does get himself one onto HiGHLiGHTS. So not all hope is lost, but the bomb, it is stuck in a very awkward position where it should have been planted realistically over towards Pillar. He does find some damage onto Arados, but he will find some damage himself, courtesy of HiGHLiGHTS. Some of the players haven't able to slip on by, and Arados is completely blind. Full flash, and he somehow still gets one. That's actually HiGHLiGHTS who doubles down, shutting down both Blitz and Maddie's, and he goes in for a third. What a flick onto the head of Mangus right there. It is a post-plant scenario, but it's not looking all too winnable for Enterprise in the slightest. Eli managed to slip through that smoke as well, but he was quickly found out. They're going to redirect their attention over towards this ramp side, and HiGHLiGHTS is already there to meet them. He finds 2 for his troubles, staving off reconverted scenario. Story about to go for a wide swing, and he finds himself with a fistful of frags. Maddie's collapses. A 2v4 now ensues as Blitz has to trade off that Mac 10 for a Galil. Miltsy already spotted on out. Blitz, excuse me, claimed, and the same thing goes for Miltsy. A good start off T-side ramp. Miltsy looking for an entry. The swing comes through, and Maddie's capitalizes instead. Diaz waves hello and goodbye to Maddie's. He's in for more as well. He just fades away through the molly and smoke at just the right time. Miltsy capitalizes onto Diaz. A lovely find. The Story comes in swinging. So much damage dealt, but so much received. The MP9 and A1S of HiGHLiGHTS and Arados respectively have got to activate right here. Info spotted out. Capitalized upon. Blitz finds HiGHLiGHTS on the flank. He's going to start feeling some pressure very quickly, and he will be clapped upon. Doesn't have the best of avenues to work with. Eli spots out a little bit of aggression, and he can't really do anything about it. HiGHLiGHTS will claim him instead. The 5v4 scenario now ensues with Enterprise forced to actually forfeit all of that side endeavor, and they will instead redirect their attention over towards this B-bomb side. Oh no, it's gone horribly wrong. Arados will secure them and can't connect the shots. He's been staved off. Mangus will have to come alive as he is now left all on his lonesome. HiGHLiGHTS already found Miltsy. And with the bomb down, how do you go about this? A flashbang tossed out. Perfect anti-flash. But now the collapse comes on through, and the defuse has already been stuffed. Not a tap. He will find Arados and spray down onto Story as well. Quickly converted into a 1v1 as HiGHLiGHTS is looking to get the upper hand. The flick comes through, but Mangus can't find sufficient damage. No! Themselves a foothold on that A-bomb site. They had one successful execution. And this likely isn't going to be one either. Miltsy already found. Diaz collected as Mangus retorts with a bullet. HiGHLiGHTS spots out a spray. Down onto Blitz through the mid crate, and that's control of bomb established. HiGHLiGHTS falls in the AWP in the hands of Mangus. Oh, goodness gracious. It's all lost to the wayside. It's gone horribly. Has been able to skirt through, and he spots a strafe, and now he goes for the oh, no. That's gone horribly wrong for Diaz. At the very least, Milty will be traded best of 3 in their favor. Blitz? He's good for one onto HiGHLiGHTS. The trade comes on through from HiGHLiGHTS, and he's hungry for a little bit more. The spray down is good onto Maddie's head. The third, maybe it's close, but no cigar just yet for HiGHLiGHTS. At the very least, they've been able to strictly tame this Enterprise side. HiGHLiGHTS, though, coming alive, will be found upon. The retort is good on the side of HiGHLiGHTS, and he might have high ground to work with. Tech 9 in the hands of Mangus will be stripped away from recent history in the last 3 months. Keep in mind, they only played it once and they lost in 1916. Enterprise have played it slightly more and maintain a slightly higher win percentage, but it's not really showing the timing on the C-sided map. Diaz secures a trade in before Milty will retort with one of his own. The man advantage is still firmly locked for the win and will be advanced upon. HiGHLiGHTS goes in for a swing. He finds 2. Narrowly the third as well, but only towards hell. Arrow's in the prime position, reads into the boost, and HiGHLiGHTS, the boosty, suffering a boatload of damage. Another boost comes on through, and this time it's successful. Blitz finds himself a kill. The exact same boost. Nobody up close. The booster. The story has been found. Arados once again is always in the prime position to get himself a trade. And one by one, Enterprise, they can trade these off, but it's not really going to be converted into a round win. I doubt it. The AK-47 has been found. Milty collapsed. And now Mangus on 16 HP, 1 USP shot away from death. Or an HE, that's also one way to do it. Rossi on the C side. Oh no, Mangus thought that he snuck through the smoke, but he snuck into the lion's den. Long angle to work with, and he suffers a lot of damage. Story gets another, and Diaz, he capitalizes again. HiGHLiGHTS falls for the exact same thing that Mangus did. And Story will find Maddie's with to try to recover this one, and he's about to slow walk right into the LOS of Story. Brilliantly played by already up to 37 rounds, and is looking to be 38 rounds. The Story already finds first blood. HiGHLiGHTS will be collected though by Milty. They can stave that off just a little bit. Oh, the timing was so mismanaged by Milty. Goes for the swing before the flashbang actually went off. Diaz goes in for another before finally being traded off by HiGHLiGHTS. 2v3 now in the favor of Enterprise. Quickly converted. HiGHLiGHTS gets another blunder. He's let him slip. Now he's going to be quickly converted upon. Finds one on the Story as well. Arados will have to quickly scamper away. Flashbang tossed out, doesn't connect. The second one, HiGHLiGHTS was prepped and ready for the anti-flash. He finds one, and HiGHLiGHTS just in the nick of time. Once again have to stave them off to the best of his abilities. He's done it before multiple times. Oh, that is a horribly misplaced Molotov as Maddie's actually commits Sudoku, question mark? Either way, it's a 3v3 scenario, and HiGHLiGHTS is going to keep them at bay. He finds 2 over towards the B bomb site. A smoke to be dropped on all that smoke. Sound cue comes on through, and Story goes for the swing. The P250 finds the head of Blitz, and for the win. You can see for the win, they're having a hoot and a half. They're having a bit of a laugh. They had a triple op setup employed, I think, and that was soon stripped away. And apparently, I've been left entirely speechless because I don't know what the hell is going on. Arados left in a 1v4. He does get one onto Milty. Will be wide swung upon by Maddie's. And Enterprise information is now. Things have been set into motion by For the Win. The boost read into by Diaz. What a shot. Contest. The bomb plant will be secured. And Maddie's goes aggressive. HiGHLiGHTS finally gets himself the first frag versus For the Win. Blitz will double down. Timidly awaiting for the right moment to go for a swing, and there it is. The dual swing comes on through. HiGHLiGHTS, bit messy, but he gets one. Diaz retorts with one of his own, looking for a little bit more. HiGHLiGHTS and Diaz in tandem with one another. Surrounded by MP9s is all that they have to work with in this instance. At the very least, it will cause a little bit of damage. A nasty bloodbath taking place already. Over towards mid is going to leave us in a 2v2 scenario. HiGHLiGHTS shuts down Blitz to confirm that. But it's still SMGs versus ARs. This doesn't look too heavily favored towards Enterprise. They lose out on Mangus. And then you've got a very, very difficult clutch on your hands. And he gets a couple of dinks, but at the end of the day, dinks don't win you matches, kills do. As Story has confirmed.